This is my passion. This is Ike's Outdoors.
Hey guys, last time we got together we talked about was talking about Heavy 13. Want to clarify something. The pattern testing numbers that I gave you guys at 40 yards, having 49 pellets in the head and neck of a life-size turkey target, extending that out to 60 yards, having 24 in the head and neck. That was done with Heavy 13 3.5 inch number 5. That was before the Magnum blend. I just wanted to clarify that. I do shoot the Magnum blend now, but I have not done an actual pellet count. What I can tell you is it's a lot denser than what the actual 3.5 inch number 5 was. Again, that's part of the reason why I shoot it, and obviously you can see, as I've talked about it, how much I believe in that product and how I've absolutely just will not go turkey hunting if I don't have it. I believe in it that much. By the same token, we've talked about it and its pattern density. Talked about it. You know, you've seen the advertisements. Extend your range. Extend your range. One thing I do want to clarify is I'm not an advocate of long shots. I'll take it if I have to, but I certainly don't want to take a long shot. I'd much rather get that bird up close and get him in my face. The closer the better. But by the same token, as I mentioned to you earlier, I cut my teeth hunting public land. I can't tell you how many birds I had hang up 50, 60 yards. So whenever Heavy 13 came out on the market, regardless of the price, it is effective. It's lethal. It is wicked out to 60 yards. But I'd urge you, pattern test that out of your own gun. I shoot a Benelli Nova with a Rhino 673 choke, and at 60 yards, if a gobbler walks within, gives me an opportunity, he's going to take a dirt nap, plain and simple. One other thing I want to mention, some of the things we've covered so far in turkey hunting. The big thing is just to be flexible and adapt. Keep in mind, turkeys don't always cooperate. In a perfect world, that opening morning setup where you go out there, got the birds roosted, got your decoys set up, they fly down, come in, boom, it's over. No, it doesn't always work like that. So be flexible and adapt. Don't be afraid to move. Obviously, you got to be careful, keeping in mind a turkey can see 300 degrees out of a 360. But if they're not responding, not paying attention to your calls, watch where they're going. If you've got, use the lay of the land, cut them off, set up an ambush if you have to, if they're not going to cooperate. In regards to calling, don't worry about making a bad or a sour note whenever you're calling. Obviously, we want to call, we want to do a good job, we want to imitate a turkey, we want to imitate that old hen as best as we possibly can, but don't worry about a sour or bad note. Well, you say, well, why would you say that? Here's a classic example. Just a couple days ago, I was out scouting a piece of property that I hunt. Had 2 strutting toms in the field, 5 jakes, 7 hens. There was one old boss hen, and she sounded pathetic as far as the turkey goes. I mean, if I wasn't watching her, I'd have thought there was a 6 or 7 year old over there hammering away on their box call for the first time. So keep that in mind. Not all turkeys sound the same, just like not all humans sound the same. So if you do hit a sour note, you make a bad note calling, don't worry about it, just keep on going. Another thing to keep in mind, in those situations where things are going in your favor, that gobbler, you've got him, he's out there in front of you, he's in sight, you've seen him, you've called to him, or he's seen your decoys and he's clearly committed and he's coming in, don't call. The only time that I would call on a gobbler that I can see is coming towards me is if a hen comes in and tries to take him through the fence or to the other end of the field or something like that, or if he acts like he's losing interest. That's the only time I would call. If you feel like he's clearly committed and he's coming in to your setup, quit calling. I want to take just a minute and go over some of my bread and butter calls that I use Talked about it earlier. The fly down cackle. Resist that urge at daylight, fly down time, to overcall. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it's hard to do, but give them just a soft couple tree yelps. Just let them know where you are. Let them know, hey, there's a bird over there. And then, like I said, my personal preference, do that fly down cackle for every decoy I've got out there. And again, whenever you do that fly down cackle, remember that trick of using your hand just on your thigh to simulate wings as you're doing it. Something like this. Not only do you give the fly down cackle, but then you get the sound of the wings there. That just adds more realism to it. Some of my favorite calls, I personally like to call aggressively. I do a lot of cutting. It doesn't always work, but out of the years that I have hunted, I can tell you the times that I've called aggressively to a tom and done a lot of cutting, those are the times that I've had the best response. If he's fired up, I've got his attention. I keep him fired up. If he's not fired up, I'm able to he may not even be strutting. I can make him he'll go into a strut, and pretty soon, the next thing you know, that old head's glowing, and here he comes. Here's just a little example. Keep in mind what turkey season's geared around. It's geared around the mating season. So if that gobbler hears that, he's gonna get interested and say, what in the world is going on over there? Kind of think like a turkey. Put yourself in his shoes, if you would, as you're calling. A lot of times he'll just come on over. Or he'll continue to, or he'll if he's in the. Sometimes I've had him in the field away from me, bring him through the fence, or bring him from one end of the field to the other. I've just had, and again, cutting may not be your cup of tea. Again, these are just tips that I'm sharing with you that have worked for me in the 18 years that I've turkey hunted, and that's one of my go-to things. If it's a make it or break it, Derek, you got to call at him and get his attention, get him to come. What are you going to do? I'm gonna cut at him and see if I can't get him fired up and get his attention over there. As far as calling, the best advice that I could give you is the advice that was given to me about 18 years ago by the man that got me started turkey hunting, and that is spend time in the woods. Go out there, take the time to get out a couple weeks before season, even in the fall whenever you're bow hunting. Just listen to them. Listen to the sounds they make. Listen to them whenever they're content. Those little purrs, those little clucks, things like that. Whenever you're out there in the spring doing your scouting, just pay attention to them and just learn to mimic those sounds. There's a lot of the call manufacturers, I know whenever you buy calls, sell audio CDs, how-tos, tips, just turkey sounds. I know HS Strut's good about that. I've actually got one of their audio CDs myself. Listen to it from time to time, just as a reminder. Some of the things that I may have even forgot. That's the best advice that I could give you on calling tips. I could sit here and make sounds all day long, but I think it's the best advice that I could possibly give you, again, is just to go out there, pay attention to those turkeys, see the sounds they make. If you don't have time to do that, again, get those audio CDs. Just listen to the different sounds that the turkeys make, and do your best to imitate that. And keep in mind how wary a turkey is. We talked about their eyesight. You know, they can see 300 degrees out of 360. The only thing that they cannot see is directly behind their head. And if a gobbler's got his tail up and you need to move, there's a quick tip. That's a good opportunity to move if he's got that tail up, because there is no way that he can see if he's by himself. Now, if there's hens or jakes out there, obviously don't do that. But if you're dealing with a gobbler and he's strutting and he's turning around and you're looking at the tail end of his fan, that's a good time to move, make that last minute adjustment, get your gun up, get your bow drawn, whatever you need to do. So they've got great eyesight. A lot of people have talked about it. You've probably heard people say it, but if the Almighty made a turkey like he did a deer, if a wild turkey had the sense of smell like a white-tailed deer that we hunt, they would be virtually impossible to kill. So keep in mind all those things whenever you're out there in the woods. Every turkey's a trophy. It's one of the wariest, cautious animals that we're going to pursue around here. And again, every one of them's a trophy and a feat in itself. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. I hope these tips that I've shared with you have been beneficial. I hope it's something that you've picked up on, maybe learned something that you can try that you haven't done before. Hope it proves to be successful for you, and take time whenever you're out there this upcoming spring to cherish and be thankful for those times we get to spend outdoors in God's creation. Thank you.